Hey everyone, my name is Jackie Jesus, and this is my applied assignment. The table of contents, we have the pre-work, which is having the necessary accommodations to be able to communicate with children and adults. For the research, I have found a true story of a deaf server finding the joy in communicating with her families that she helps. New learning is the individual with the disability, the families of those with the disability, and the communities such as school, childcare, and workplaces. Continued inquiry would be how can society be more inclusive in the workforce for their deaf and hard of hearing employees? For the pre work, I will be talking about employment, house modifications, how technology helps or may not help, and does the ADA help people in the community? My topic is deaf and hard of hearing while working with children. Why I have interacted with individuals in the deaf and hard of hearing community, and the aspect of inclusion, being able to adapt as a hearing person while communicating with a deaf and hard of hearing individual. I interviewed Miss Darla. Why? Because she is hard of hearing and she works with the 3 to 4 year olds. I know about her disability, and I have had firsthand with being friends with an individual that too was hard of hearing. So for the course material, I use the applied design or the universal design principles. I use this because it showed me what to look for while in the classroom and how these principles can be beneficial for a deaf or hard of hearing individual, such as having a telephone that has Bluetooth access will give the individual the option to connect it to their cochlear implant. Family life goes on, disability in contemporary families. I use this because at some point we will know someone that has a disability or may become temporary or permanently disabled. For my research, I used the deaf and hard of hearing individuals' preference for wearable and mobile sound technologies. I use this to gain a better understanding of the devices that are available for deaf and hard of hearing individuals, and if they prefer one device over another. The story with I had tears in my eyes. I use this to showcase that having the adequate accommodations goes a long way of having a deaf or hard of hearing individual be more inclusive with the public. My evidence, and this is the interview. What kind of hearing loss do you have? I am classified as profound deaf with 110 decibel loss in both ears. What do you wish hearing people knew about being deaf or hard of hearing? My biggest thing is I wished people wouldn't be so quick to judge us. In the past, we were judged as being stupid because we couldn't hear. People need to be patient as well because there are so many words that sound so alike that can be misunderstood. How does the ADA help with your disability? All my life, I had to learn to adapt to everything in life before ADA came into being. When it came about, it really didn't help me since I had to learn to adapt. Now I have assisted hearing devices that benefit me, such as Bluetooth cell phone assisted listening devices at the movies, along with the cochlear implant and the hearing aids. What are the difference between a cochlear implant and a hearing aid, and what are the pros and cons? The hearing aid is an outer piece that fits to the ear with an ear mold in the inner ear to help you hear. The cochlear is a device that is connected to the inner hearing stem that stimulates the nerve to pick up sounds. The pros of hearing aid is surgery is not needed. The con of the hearing aid is that the hearing aid may not clarify things clearly and that you miss a lot of what is being said. The cochlear con is that you must have it implanted through surgery. Another con is that if you have a cochlear implant, you cannot have an MRI at all. If you must have an MRI, you must have surgery to remove the device because the MRI will damage it. The pros are that the clarity of things is clearer than a hearing aid. Most cochlears are connected to Bluetooth, which you can use on your cell phone. It is so much easier to understand what is being said. The cochlear also has a noise blocking mechanism installed so that you can hear better when you are in a restaurant, a party, or even somewhere where it's loud. Did you modify your home? How are you able to know when someone is at your door if you wear cochlear implants? I did not modify my home, but I do have a dog that is trained to let me know when someone is at the door or when the phone is ringing. When watching TV or a movie, is the volume turned up or do you use closed captions? Are you able to go to a movie theater? I use closed captioning all the time. The volume does not need to be turned up. Sometimes I watch TV with the volume off and use closed captions. I go to the movie theater all the time with my family and friends. With my cochlear, I can understand what is being said during the movie. How do you communicate at home? Do you use American Sign Language? Whoops. I can communicate very well with my cochlear. I do not sign unless I am with my friends who are deaf. Is it hard being a hard of hearing teacher? What can be used in the classroom to help you understand the children and parents? It is hard because there are limitations such as the children wearing masks. My life would be a lot easier if the masks weren't a requirement of the children. I do not like to use the phone unless I absolutely need to. It's hard for me to hear on the phone when the children are talking since they are so loud. The parents know that I am hearing impaired, and they have been pretty good about it. I do not hide it because it is part of who I am. For the new learning, make those accommodations. It does not cost much to make your deaf or hard of hearing employee feel like part of the family. Turn on the closed captions to your videos and television. We have to remember that the deaf and hard of hearing individuals are people too, and they deserve the same respect as able bodies. Talk to the individuals face to face and speak slowly and clearly so they are able to read your lips. Learn basic sign language from the community. Go to a deaf play or have your workplace participate in what it's like to be deaf or hard of hearing exercises. I found an article that did this and it put into light of how difficult their hearing impaired employee had when he did not have the adequate accommodations to help him. Continued inquiry. Um, what I would like to know is how does a deaf or hard of hearing get a driver's license when they are unable to hear the instructor? And I would do that by interviewing a DMV personnel and how they accommodate to the deaf and hard of hearing community. So my question to you is while you are out in public and you um, run into a deaf or hard of hearing individual, would you be able to adapt on the fly to help accommodate that individual to help them understand what you are saying? All right, well, thank you. Hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I will have a good rest of the semester. Bye.